Back the market holding in the green, and that's mainly because of HDFC Bank. And it's a positive for HDFC Bank. The RBI has lifted restrictions on business generation activities under the bank's Digital 2.0 program. Remember, the banking regulator had barred HDFC Bank from issuing new credit cards and introducing new digital offerings under its digital program for a period of 15 months. Parag Rao, Group Head, Payments, Business Consumer Finance, Digital Banking and Information Technology at HDFC Bank is joining us. Parag, hi, good morning. Thanks a lot for joining us. Thanks. Good to have this conversation with you. So tell us, now that this restriction is gone, how do you see your digital footprint expanding? Because, others have clearly had a bit of a lead over you, the other big banks like ICICI Bank. So tell us your thoughts on, what this means for you going forward.
Okay. Thanks for the question. I think I'll describe this situation as we were jogging up till now, and now we can get into the sprint. So as you're aware, we were under an embargo on two counts. One is we could not source incremental credit cards, and we could not sort of launch any new business generating activities under Digital 2.0. The card embargo got lifted in August, and we've been sort of getting back to the market with the bank post that, and sort of recovering a little bit of the lost market share which we had since we were out for almost 9 to 10 months. Digital 2.0 was about our transformation journey, and I'll talk a little bit about that to set the perspective. Our 2.0, Digital 2.0 is a culmination of our almost 3-year transformation journey. The transformation journey for the bank is a holistic approach to not just talking about new digital platforms or capabilities, but also looking at activities like refactoring the core, strengthening our legacy systems, bringing in new age skill sets, engineering skill sets to the bank, and strengthening our overall security posture, given the fact that we're in the financial services space. And therefore, it's a completely holistic, it's a journey which we embarked almost a year and a half back. Okay, and a lot of the items, both front end, which are customer facing, and back end are sort of in progress. We have quite a few projects and quite a few launches, if you may call so, which we plan to sort of announce over the next 2 to 3 quarters. With the RBI, we've been in constant dialogue, and we thank the RBI for sort of pointing out some of the things which we needed to sort of strengthen in the marketplace. Short and sweet, I think we've been growing. We've been growing, I think, quite reasonably well. And we needed to also sort of keep on upgrading our infrastructure, our core IT infrastructure, to keep in pace with not just the current growth, but also our future planned growth. And hence, Digital 2.0 forms an extremely important part of the transformation journey for HDFC Bank, preparing us for the next 5 to 10 years.
Parag, hi, good morning. It's been a long time coming, right? I mean, it took 15 months for the RBI to revoke the ban. I'm sure you've been waiting in the wings to, get back into the business, especially in credit cards where you've lost quite a bit of market share. So can you tell us, particularly for credit cards, what's the game plan now in terms of margin, profitability, the way forward?
Well, credit cards has always been probably our most profitable product group. So yes, I think we did lose a little bit of market share on the incremental sourcing side, and that's had a lag effect a little bit on this kind of spend which we got. But ever since the embargo has been lifted, we're sort of back to our pre-pandemic run rates, and we're sort of growing on month from there. Going forward, our strategy is clearly, from an organic point of view, to far exceed the run rates which we had pre-embargo. On the bank's customer base itself, we've got a significant headroom to grow. As you know, HDFC Bank has 60 million plus customers. We have only about 16 million odd cards. So we've got significant scope to grow even on the bank's internal base without diluting credit norms. So that's one core part of our strategy. Our second part of our strategy is actually to have like-minded partner alliances and strategy, which gives us access to many markets where we may not be present today. Looking at partner databases and actually significantly growing the group. So we've got aggressive plans to continue growing, and I would expect that we would be able to claw back our market share over the next 2 to 3 quarters.
Parag, hi, good morning. 2 questions. One, in simple words, what is this? So the ban on issuing credit cards was lifted earlier. What does this new sort of relief from RBI allow you to do in simple terms? What you could not do earlier? And second, because of that, will we see an acceleration in loan growth, earnings, etc., going forward over a period of time? Go on.
Okay, fine. So in simple terms, what you're saying is that we're doing a lot of our transformation work at the back end, which was continuing even during the embargo period. What we could not do was launch business generating new digital platforms. We're happy to say that there are two, three areas in which we will be sort of announcing things over the next 2 to 3 quarters. A couple of just to give you some example, we're revamping our completely net banking and mobile application. This will be on the new age, scalable, elastically scalable platforms, mobile ready, completely new customer experience with the best of the technology at the back end. So net banking, mobile banking is the one. We have a payment app, which is called PayZapp. PayZapp 2.0 will once again be on the latest platform, and we're promising a wonderful experience. Our aim is to become amongst the top 2 to 3 payment apps over the next 24 months. We'll look to 2 more initiatives I'll talk about. We will be launching a completely what we call a new digital customer experience hub, whereby customers, when they interact with the bank for queries, questions, disputes, product information, what have you can get a 360-degree view, which means fundamentally 24/7 he can approach the bank across any channel, multiple channel, even at the same time, and sort of he'll get a complete response in a holistic manner, taking into account his existing relationship or his background, and so he gets a completely new across form factor experience. The last initiative I'll talk about, and there are many more coming. The last initiative is we're reimagining our complete SMB platform. We realize that while we're strong in that space, in the years to come, even the SMB customers are expecting a completely new way in which they're going to interact with their principals, banking in particular. And so we're reimagining our entire SMB platform. As a result of which, this digital thing, we're going to give a fillip to one, I think, a great customer experience going forward with these launches. And at the same time, it's going to help us penetrate into many of these segments where sort of we may not have been as strong as before. Okay, but fundamentally, it's there to strengthen our existing strength in the segments which we are in and move on from there.
Parag, since you touched upon that net banking, and since you are the head of the IT vertical as well at HDFC Bank, so would you say that the issues that customers faced over the last 2 years or so, when they used to be, sometimes it would hang or sometimes it would not work, they would be the issues of the past? And also, do you think you've been slightly behind the curve compared to, say, an ICICI Bank? I mean, I can say that as a user of both the banks, that it's clearly much better and much smoother experience with ICICI Bank compared to HDFC Bank. Do you think you can challenge that?
Okay. So we've been, like I said, over the last 14, 15 months, with constant interaction with the regulator, meetings to sort of keep on evaluating what's been happening. We've taken a lot of the suggestions which the RBI regulator had made to us, and actually we're thankful for them. So we've done a significant amount of work at the back end to ensure that a lot of the issues which you mentioned also are completely behind us. Mind you, I think one must keep in mind that it's a very large, complex system, 60 million customers. So it's proverbially like a A380 sort of flying with its full complement of passengers. So you've got to fly the plane and you've got to fix it. So that's the reason why we said our transformation journey will be over a 3-year period, and we've laid out short-term, medium-term, and long-term goals in terms of how we're sort of upgrading our entire IT backbone in a holistic manner. Question is that we've never been, to answer your question about whether sort of we're behind the market, I don't believe so. Even across the last 25 years, we've never always been the first in the marketplace. We've many times been second or third. In fact, in the credit card space, we were probably the last entrant into the space. Okay, but we believe in understanding the customer, looking at what are the new needs, and you must know in the digital world, as you're aware, preferences and things keep on changing month on month. Okay, so we're clear that we'll focus on the customer and what they need. We build for the future, and very soon with our scale and our capabilities to penetrate into customer markets, I don't think this will be seen as a disadvantage.
Okay, I have to ask you about your operating profit growth, because I was going through the last 4-5 quarters and the growth has actually fallen a little bit. I mean, in Q4 of FY21, for example, it was almost a 20% growth in operating profits. It's fallen to just about 10.5% in Q3 of this year. Any reason to be concerned at all? And what kind of a sustainable growth can we expect going forward?
Okay. So I'm not the best person really to answer this question.
Sure.
My CFO would sort of answer this question. But having said this, I don't think there's any reason at all to grow, to worry about. The pandemic has been the last sort of year and a half has been sort of quite tumultuous in terms of the kind of impact it's had on people. One key impact, as we all know, has been for customers who sort of sit on the fence as far as credit is concerned. There has been some amount of churn in those kind of portfolios, and thereby you may have seen a little bit of sort of growth, and this is across the industry, growth banks across the industry. I think we are far behind all of those things right now. Our philosophy and our thinking is very clearly for those who've sort of gone through the pandemic unscathed. I think it's now the time to really grow. We've got our plans in place across all our segments, both retail and wholesale, and you can only see growth from here onwards.
Parag, just one last question briefly, if you can respond. You wanted to have a business line which kind of allows you to have a digital-only bank. And you wanted to be ready for that whenever licenses for that are issued. Does this help you do that? And are you working on that?
Absolutely. We're working on that. That's one of the projects which is part of this digital transformation. We do believe that there is space for a completely digital bank. Having said this, we've been observing what's happening in many other countries and also what's happening in India. So we're constantly calibrating this plan. We'd like to be sort of through the market in the right place and the right kind of product, and at the same time adaptive enough to keep on managing the customer expectations. So it's a project. Looking forward to that project being kicking off in the marketplace. But we'll get back to you as soon as we're ready.
Okay, we'll leave it at that. Thanks a lot for joining us, and all the best for the future plans in terms of the digital banking business. Hope you get back on track in the way that you wanted to. It's been long coming now. Finally, the RBI has lifted that curb after 15 long months. All right, well, that's the word coming in on HDFC Bank. But on to the latest in the Z Investco tussle. The Bombay High Court